Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm here with Rob Dexter and Joe Lopez of Kings County. The band has just put out their first single of the year called My Addiction, and I'm super excited to talk to them about it. Rob and Joe, thank you so much for being here. How are you doing today?
Hey Austin,
Doing
how's it
well.
going?
Doing pretty well on my end. What part of the world are you guys in right now?
We are based out of Orlando, Florida. Um,
Nice, both of you?
well, Joe originally is from Tampa.
Okay.
Right.
When we first met Joe, he was in Tampa, and now he's kind of north of Orlando. Where are you, Joe?
The Villages.
Nice.
The Villages.
So suspenseful.
I don't know if Austin knows what the
I
Villages
don't.
is.
I've spent a
I don't know if you
decent
want to
amount of
know.
time. Do I want to know?
It's a huge golfing community. I love golf.
Gotcha.
I absolutely stink at golf, but I love to play it.
That's
It's
okay.
a really relaxing sport and a good way to get out and get some sun.
I agree.
Austin, do you golf?
I have golfed. Most of my family golfs. I putt occasionally, but I'd
Right.
love to get out there and try it. I know it's just kind of like an avenue for drinking outside, which sounds pretty fantastic.
One of these days we'll get Rob to try it. He's
I
he's
just
not a
do
big
not
golf
golf.
enthusiast.
I'm more a baseball guy than a golfer, but
That's
Yeah.
reasonable.
I don't have a problem trying it, just I'll be slowing these guys up.
Yeah, I'll
Nah.
try
They'll be
anything
yelling at
once.
us behind us.
Well, I wanted to hop right into the song here. First off, I love
Right.
it. It rocks hard, and it's
Thank you.
really a nice return to form for you guys. One thing I really want to focus in on though are the obvious, hard hitting lyrics. I'd love to hear a background on them and kind of get your take on what the song is all about.
Sure. When I wrote the song, a really good friend of ours is going through a really tough time. He's got he's going through some physical problems. He's
Mhm.
got an illness, and he kind of had mentioned to me back in September about he wanted to let me he had all these notes written down about what he was going through in his life, and he wanted to give me his ideas written down and see if I could form a song together. And it was also had something to do with his like a girl that he knew. I don't want to say any names or anything, but
That's all right.
and so the song is basically about his addiction to get back to normal,
Mhm.
and his addiction to this girl that he was so in love with but knew he can never get.
Okay.
And that's kind of what we based the song around. And then with everything going on in 2020 with with the virus and everything, it was kind of like I was pulling all this together. Your addiction is to try to get back to normal, the way things were when
Yeah,
things were great. And that's basically what the song's about. And
I
it's
really like
pretty much
that.
you can relate to anybody, can relate to addictions,
Mhm.
whatever it is. Everyone struggles, from time to time, but that's basically what the song's about.
Would you say that for, I guess, a listener that's checking your music out for the first time, it's sort of up to interpretation on however they want to take it, whether they're
Exactly.
looking, yeah, whether they're looking to, get back into a normal life or even like a drug addiction or something along those
Exactly. Yep.
lines. That's awesome. Cause
Whenever
yeah, yeah.
whenever you write about stuff that people can relate to, that's real life, I think
Mhm.
it kind of it pulls them in a little bit more than just maybe just something
100%.
that you know.
That's the thing with so much music these days, it's so over manufactured to the point where it's like people are just making up storylines and making up things so
Right.
that they kind of get you in. But I feel as a music listener and people that make music, you can kind of see past that crap and you can really feel when
Oh yeah.
it's personal.
And
And that
that's
comes
one
through
thing
here.
that was one thing that we've noticed. A lot of people was saying, "I really love your lyrics. They're really emotional and
Right.
they really connect to them." And I think that was really important for us
Yeah.
that people understood. We didn't get too specific about what the song meant,
Mhm.
but people could relate to it. What do you think, Joe?
Absolutely.
Well, I think everybody can relate to addiction on some sort. of some sort, whether it be food, whether it be, physical addictions, whether it be, substance abuse, things of that nature. You either know someone who's been fighting that battle, or one's own, addictions that you have to fight through.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the song is the vindication at the end. When the demon, if you will, is sort of conquered. And there's nothing quite like that. I mean, we've all been there in one form or another. Everybody has an addiction of some sort, or knows someone that has. And so it's a very inspirational song. I think it came at us at just the right time with everything going on. And it just, like Rob said, it just kind of fell in his lap, and he took the bull by the horns like he always does, and here we are. It's a great song.
It really is. And I know it's not just you two in the band, right? We're missing a couple guys.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't want them to feel left out here, so should definitely give them a shout out.
Absolutely. On guitar and vocals, and he does sing a couple of songs, is Steve Bell.
Okay.
And our other guitar player is Bill Kenya. We all
Gotcha.
basically live. The funny story is we're not originally from Florida. Joe is, right? Are you
I am.
originally from? Joe is.
Yes.
But
yes.
we moved down here in 2000. We originally came from the New York area, and that's where we got Kings County from, because Kings County is the name of the borough of Brooklyn.
God,
And
I thought that sounded familiar. I was like, I don't think there's a Kings County in Florida. I mean, there may be, but smaller.
Nope. Yeah. So we,
yeah.
we did have a different name at the time, years back, and we were like, we wanted to keep the New York theme because that's kind of where the band started.
Yeah.
So we went with Kings County, and it's funny, you see all the New Yorkers, the people in that area, like, I was born in Kings County Hospital, and it's like, so it definitely connects to it. It's kind of funny.
That's
Either
funny.
you know it, you don't,
Yeah, you create fans for life right there, just based off your name. Then you don't have to like the music. It's just it's a pride thing at that point.
Yep.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the production a little bit as well, because I know that you guys have a pretty sweet team that helps work on your music. If you wouldn't mind kind of talking about how the song all came together and how long you've been working on it for.
Sure. Back in December, we put together just a really rough demo of the song.
Mm-hmm.
We, nowadays everybody has their own studios, and you can record parts and ideas. And one thing great about the internet is it allows you to be able to be in Orlando or New York or California, and you can write songs and throw ideas back and forth, where years ago you could never do that. So we had the basic demo done, and we sent it to our producer, Chuck Alkazian, who's in Detroit.
Gotcha. Okay.
And he's out of Pearl Sound Studios, and he's done a ton of bands in there.
Mm-hmm.
And gave him the idea, and he was like, all right, you guys got something here. Why don't you try to sing the verse like this, or do the guitar part like that? And, we were just kind of bouncing ideas back and forth off each other, and it just exploded. We were like, we couldn't believe when it came back and we finished the final recordings.
Mm-hmm.
And he does his production on it. We were just blown away. We were like, wow, we got something here, which is great.
That's awesome, because it really turned into something special. Like, I love the sound overall, but it hits like these high highs that it's going to translate very well live once you can eventually, get out there and start touring.
Exactly.
Love to see it. Love to see it.
And that's one thing. It's like when you write a song, they always say, try not to think about playing it live. Try to make the song as best as possible, and then worry about reproducing it live.
Exactly.
Because then you tend to, cut yourself short. If you're worried about performing live, you may not do this part of that part. But yeah, this song is really going to translate great live.
Totally. I don't want to hop too far into the future here, but I do have to ask, this is your first single of the year. So my hope is that you guys have been busy and been at least writing some more, or with more plans for more to come out.
Yeah, we have 4 more songs that are basically done.
Oh, nice. Okay.
They're done. We did it guess it was in the end of February, when we went up to Steve and I, the guitar player, went up to Detroit to kind of, work with Chuck, bouncing ideas back and forth, and we put some songs together, and they're great. And we don't want to push it too quick because we want to make My Addiction ride it
Yeah,
as long as we can. And then,
absolutely.
and then we'll eventually, we don't know if we're going to do a full album or we're going to
Mhm.
just do singles. It's great to do singles because, with the internet, you can easily put that out there with all
Yeah.
the social media and all the platforms. You can put it out there. It's
That's the
great.
trend. That's the trend nowadays. You got to
It
like
is.
keep building the hype and keep it up. And it's just like, it's a process. It's the business end of the music industry. And it's like, as much as you'd love to
Yep.
hear those cohesive albums, that's just not how people are consuming music anymore. And
You're right.
it's kind of crazy. I suppose if
Thinking
we
Absolutely
about it,
have,
correct.
yeah. No, go for it, Joe.
Go
No,
ahead, Joe.
I was going to echo what you were just saying. I mean, the
Mhm.
music business has changed so much. It's, in my opinion, it's not about record sales anymore. It's
Mm-mm.
about your downloads.
Yeah.
And, so put them out one at a time, give them a chance to find expression, publicly, and sing to the audience. And like Rob said, just keep stuff in the pipeline, just keep it coming out.
Exactly.
He mentions we have some songs that are already done,
Mhm.
but at the same time, him and Steve are just constantly brainstorming ideas. They'll we'll be doing a gig, and during sound check, he'll be rattling off some riff, and I'm like, hey, what is that, man? So there's always something going on in the pipeline. So it's a thing of the future. It's just
It
the way it is
is.
now.
It's just the
You know,
way.
even our lawyer that handles all our business side of everything, it
Sure.
says, record companies are dead. It's
Oh,
all
yeah.
about it's all about your downloads, Spotify, Facebook, all those numbers are what people are looking at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's amazing how it's changed over the years.
It's crazy. It's like, I obviously I haven't been around long enough to like be in the real heyday of like, the 70s, 80s and record sales and this and that, but it feels like it was almost an easier time. And I say that because everyone who has access to a computer nowadays can watch a YouTube video and make music. It doesn't
Right.
even
It's
need to
true.
be good music. It just
Yep.
needs to be music. And as long as they have a good PR person or a good marketing person, they can become the next big thing. Doesn't even matter about talent anymore.
There's a lot of opportunities for people to get their music out there, but
Yeah.
there's also a lot of opportunities to have crappy music out there.
Well, there's a
So,
lot of crap out there right now. Let's
you
be
know what I
honest.
mean? Like it just gets bombarded with song after song after
Yeah.
song, and most of it is not really good.
Yeah.
There are ones that are on the top, but most of it is really not that good,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
Sometimes the quirkiest song is going to be great. You never know,
I know.
So
That's true. That's
Ugh,
true.
it's tough. Kind of going off of that. First off, Rob, I'm happy. I thought it was just going to be you, but I'm happy that there's someone else here because I love asking this question. Separately, I want to hear about your guys' inspirations, kind of the music that you grew up on, and how it sort of shifted into you making the music that you're making today.
Joe, you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I mean, I was brought up in a parochial school, so I was always, in marching band. In
Sure.
fact, I played trombone
Nice.
through junior high, and then high school. Later played football, so I couldn't really be in band and play football at the same time. So I came up with the classics, all the stuff like Chicago, and later just kind of gravitated into, rock. Disco was pretty hot at the time, so I dabbled some into that. But I was a big fan of Rush, obviously, as a drummer.
Yeah.
You can learn a lot from the master, who unfortunately we lost last year. But
Yeah.
Neil Peart is an incredible influence on me. But not just him. I mean, I grew up listening to guys like David Weckl, and he played with Chick Corea, also. Spyro Gyra, some jazz influences in there as well. But lately, I've been getting into the Foo Fighters a lot.
Nice.
They have something there. I mean,
Oh yeah.
there's some magic that goes on there, and it just seems like anytime you're listening to a Foo Fighters song, you're always, getting into it. So yeah, they've been a big influence on me. But I try to listen to a little bit of everything. I mean, I
Mhm.
listen to jazz, I listen to disco, I even listen to big band.
Yeah.
I even, dabble in bands that probably no one's ever heard of, like Osric Tentacles. They're real heady music. It's almost like Yes on steroids, if you will.
Oh, that sounds
But
amazing, actually.
but yeah, I mean, it's great for working out,
Yeah,
that kind of
yeah.
thing. If you're gonna go walk the dog first thing in the morning and you're not
Okay.
really all there, so you throw on a little Osric Tentacles and just go for a couple mile walk. And
All right.
so I have a lot of influence. I've always enjoyed big band, Tower of Power, things like that. Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna check out that band after we finish up. That sounds insane. I gotta
Yeah.
take a
The
listen.
very name itself
Yeah, you got
inspires,
me with the. I'm a sucker
desire
for
to
a good
listen.
name. I'm a sucker for a good band name.
Yeah.
What about
And
you,
they
Rob?
have that.
I started really young as a kid. I came from a very musical family. My grandfather was a professional musician. My dad played, but he didn't really do professionally. I kind of skipped the generation, and then I took over. I was a drummer as a kid, which
Mhm.
is kind of funny, And it's a funny, quick
Smart kid.
story. When I was like 14 years old, we ended up moving, but it was only 15 minutes from where I originally lived, and we had a band together. They kicked me out of the band because couldn't drive at 14. So even though it was like
Ah,
not that far away, and then I ended up picking up bass and just started playing with as many people as I could. I always thought whenever you play with somebody that is maybe older, better players than you, it makes you a better player. And I tried to
yeah.
be in as many bands as I could, and then I just had a love for rock. I was listening to Aerosmith and Peter Frampton and Yes, and all those bands, Black Sabbath, and it just kind of blossomed from there. And as you get older, you start playing with different bands, better bands, and that's basically what brought us here.
Nice.
Years of doing this, and we were fortunate enough that in 2018 we one of our songs we put into iHeartRadio had a contest, and they were looking for unknown original band, and we won the contest, and we opened up for
Really?
Bon Jovi.
You're kidding. That's amazing. Wait,
Yeah.
which
And
which song was it?
it was a song called "Take It or Leave It." It was off our
Okay.
first album that we did,
Damn.
and it was just it's like nobody wins these things,
No.
but we won it. We won, and it was a
Yeah.
friend of ours.
Yeah.
A friend of ours gave us the link, said, "Hey, why don't you guys check this out?" I'm like, nobody wins these things. So
It's
the
just
last day that you could enter, I was like, all right, why not? Let me do it. And I got a call on that Monday. I was like, you guys won. You're opening up for Bon Jovi. We played in a sold out arena,
Yeah.
20,000 people.
that has to be like a top nerve-wracking moment of your life, right? I can't even
Oh yeah.
fathom that.
It went by in like 2
Oh,
seconds,
I'm
as far as
sure.
I'm concerned. I mean, it
What?
was like it was over before it was begun.
Yeah.
I remember getting a call from Rob. Hey, what are you doing on such and such night? Oh, well, I'm open. And he's like, oh, we're going to open up for Bon Jovi. I said, yeah, right.
Get out of here.
Yeah. But
Um,
sure enough.
Our music was definitely heavier than
wow.
Bon Jovi. Let's put it that way.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure.
But people ate it up, and we got great
Yeah.
press. They had a lot of people there that were reviewing the Bon
Yeah.
Jovi show, and
Sure.
automatically they were reviewing us. And we,
Right.
for a band they don't know, I mean, we got great press out of that, and that kind of launched us to really push the original thing and get back
Totally.
into it.
What an opportunity. I kind of want to hear more about it because that's just such an odd, like no one wins those things. It's like winning the
Exactly.
lottery,
Nope.
basically. Was it
And,
like
and
the
not only
whole,
that,
yeah. Yeah.
Bon Jovi was a great guy. He was
That's good to
just,
hear.
he had time for us. He hung out with us. We had a photo op with him.
That's cool.
Their staff, everybody treated us like, really well. And
Amazing.
when you have a hero like Bon Jovi and then you get a chance to meet him, and he lives up to all the expectations. And then
Yeah,
doing something like this for a local band that not
it's
everybody's,
really
you know,
cool.
that's kind of dangerous. You know, you don't want to,
Yeah.
you know, it could backfire in so many ways,
Oh man.
but big ups to him. And he really is a stand-up guy. Got a great deal of respect for that guy.
Wow, that's a great story. I also want to know, sort of going off of that, was there a specific album in your guys' life, or I guess a tipping point that sort of catapulted you to want to take this path as a musician?
Hmm.
Good, Joe.
You first, Rob.
Okay. Are you going to throw me into the fire? All right.
Yeah.
I probably have a couple of them,
Okay.
but for me, it was the first Iron Maiden album.
Hmm.
When I heard that album with, I think it was Paul Di'Anno singing on that one, and it was also the Black Sabbath "I Sold Your Souls for Rock and Roll" album. That was, I think, believe it was a double album. That really got me into being into music and really wanting to do this. I just love the sound of it, and I just love that style of music. I mean, I still listen to all
Sure.
that old stuff, you know, Iron Maiden and Judas Priest and all
Yeah,
that, you know.
that'll never get
But
old.
no, but
Yeah.
No.
that was kind of my launching. But the funny thing was, when I was a kid, my dad used to play Herb Alpert all the time. So I'm also a big Herb Alpert fan. I
Sure.
love the music, you know, with the big band and everything. It's kind
Hmm.
of funny. People like, Herb Alpert, really? Okay,
Just like it's a
sure.
nostalgia
Good
thing.
stuff. It's
Oh
good
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
Totally.
Okay, Joe.
Well, for me, it was, and I hate to sound like a Rush homer, but I mean,
Do
facts are
it,
facts.
man.
The first time I heard Permanent Waves, first time I heard the Spirit of Radio,
Yeah.
and those drums just crushed right into there, and you know, I was like, wow, this is completely amazing. I mean, I've always thought, you know, drummers are like timekeepers, but this guy was actually playing a part, an integral part
Yeah.
in the music, and it was effective. It wasn't just an ego-based drive. It was complementary to the song and the sound that they had at the time. And I remember shortly thereafter, I saw Richie Morales, drummer for Spyro Gyra. They were
Mhm.
playing a show in Fort Myers. At the time, I was down there doing some work, and they were playing at some park, and I'm like, yeah, Spyro Gyra, let's go check them out. And this guy, I mean, he very unsung drummer, but he somehow communicated to me musically, and I thought, that's what I want to do. I want to be the anchor of a good band. I want to be I want to be the Stones, you know, not the
Yeah.
Rolling Stones, but the Stones,
I
you
know
know.
what you mean.
And I mean, with Kings County, I mean, every time I hear a video, I think to myself, man, that's us, you know. I mean, it sounds really good,
Right.
and you know, you can almost feel the maturity in our sound. You can almost feel, you know, the corner sort of, you know, we're kind of turning that corner, and things are, you know, you can just almost feel it. You know, it's a great feeling. I'm just, I can't tell you how honored I am and privileged, because it's like Rob says, you play with as many people as you can, and in doing that, you really understand when you find the right mix, when you find the right groove, and everything just kind of gels in its own way,
Mhm.
and it's almost effortless. But I think Neil had a huge influence on me, you know, as a drummer. I know there's a ton of other great drummers out there
Sure.
that I'm probably forgetting about, but he was quite the integral part.
I'm not surprised. I mean, of all the of all the drummers in the world that people talk about, he's definitely towards the top, and I'm not surprised that it sort of puts you over the edge to take that path for
Yeah,
yourself. It
it's
just makes
impressive.
sense. It just makes sense.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. So, kind of going back to what we were talking about just a little bit earlier about this song and its live presence. Do you guys have any plans to hit the road and start touring these songs, or even start playing some local shows around you?
Well, we've been playing since last May. Even though with everything on the virus,
Mhm.
Florida didn't really shut down
That's
for a
true.
very long for a very long time. I mean,
That's true.
literally,
Yeah.
we play a lot of shows
Yeah.
in this area, and from like the middle of March to the middle of May, we were shut down. Everybody was shut down.
Sure.
But then we started slowly getting gigs back and more gigs, and we've been full since what, September, Joe?
Yeah, September. I think it really
That's
hit.
awesome. I'm jealous, man. I haven't seen a show. It's been over a year. I'm having serious withdrawals.
That is a crime.
That's
That
my
is an
addiction. That's my
absolute
addiction.
Yeah. See,
Yeah,
everyone
it's
has
rough.
one.
It's rough, man. It's rough out here in California. Let me tell you.
We have a lot of friends that are in New York and California that are
Mhm.
musicians,
Yeah.
and every time that we post, we're playing this weekend or we have a show, it's like, you
Sure.
guys stop rubbing it in our faces. I'm like,
Seriously.
just trying to survive out here. But
no, exactly.
um,
It's been harder than ever on the independent arts, and especially independent bands. So good for you guys for getting out there and doing it.
Yep. So
Yeah, we've
we
even
would
had
like to,
friends, like Rob's had some friends from New York that come over to Florida
Hell
to,
yeah.
vacation or whatnot. They're musicians. They sit in for a set or two, a few songs.
That's cool.
And it's
you can
always
tell
great.
they're starving. They're
Yeah.
just dying
Yeah.
to get out there and
Yeah.
play
I
and
bet.
sing, and it's incredible.
That's
But
awesome.
you just got to keep it forging ahead, and we would like to jump on maybe a national tour when everything kind of kicks back in as an opener. I think it's smart for us to be an opener, because then you can really kind of jam pack your best songs into, I don't know if it's a half an hour, 45-minute set, and try to capture new fans that way.
Mhm.
And we do a ton of shows here.
Yeah.
You're the only band that's playing, so it doesn't really matter. But
Yeah.
to really kind of get outside of the Florida area, it would be nice to jump on, a national. We are doing a show with Tantric, but it's here in Florida.
Gotcha. All right. So hypothetically speaking here, let's say you get on a national tour with a big name band, and the venue manager says, all right, guys, you've got one song in your set to impress the fans. Which song are you pulling from your discography to kind of lure them
Wow. That's a tough one. Any ideas, Rob?
I'm going to say I'm going to have to go with My Addiction.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to go with that one. Or we have another song that's really doing well. It's called Bleed These Tears, which has been out for about 10 months now.
Nice.
And literally the video for Bleed These Tears is close to 750,000 views.
Oh, hell yeah.
And the funny thing about that video is we were going to do a full-length video like we did, recently, and COVID shut everything down.
Yeah.
And it turned into a lyric video with like really creepy imagery and all kinds of, stuff like that, which has communicated, like Rob says, we're up to about 700,000 views on that. And it's
Amazing.
it keeps climbing. So yeah, it's a good thing. That's a great, I would say Bleed These Tears, or All That I Want. All That I Want, I think, is a really crunchy song. And then there's another song, and of course you asked for one, so I give you five.
There are no rules. There are no rules here.
But I'm really fond of a song that we do called What Now. I think that song just absolutely crushes. And but any one of those you can't miss.
The fact that there are multiple choices here just goes to show that, you guys aren't one note. There can be multiple different emotions or heavy songs or softer songs or whatever it might be to kind of draw in a rock fan. Because a rock fan nowadays isn't just about the hard stuff or the soft stuff. It's sort of just well-rounded and whatever sounds good to them. So good on you guys.
There are a lot of bands that they're banking on that one song.
Yeah.
But if you have a lot of songs in your arsenal, then you're in way better shape, because maybe that song will pull in these type of people and this song will pull in those. So you kind of diversify a little bit more than just being, all right, we got one song, I hope it works.
Yeah.
Well, that goes. That's another thing with the music industry nowadays is everyone's blurring up genres and everyone's mashing up, R&B,
Yep.
pop, or jazz, rock, or whatever it is. That way that they can hit so many more different people who might enjoy a little bit of that song. So you can't kind of pigeonhole yourself into one thing, because that's just not
Right.
the way
True.
that things are anymore. But you also get to experiment, so it can be fun for you guys too.
Yep.
Yeah.
So,
Speaking of experiment, we did a remake of Iran, the Flock of Seagulls song.
did you? I gotta check that
Yeah.
out.
So I
It's
mean,
it's a hard rock version of Iran.
Hell yeah.
And
yeah,
it's pretty killer. And that one also, we did a video for the same guy that did the Bleed These Tears video, did the Iran video for, but that one's with the band in it.
Yeah.
right.
He flew here. The director was in California, and he flew here to do all our shots. And even that one is close to 500,000 views. I mean,
That's
because that
wild.
one will just keep growing and growing, because people are
Right.
going to type in YouTube Iran and our song's going to
Exactly.
pop up.
That's the
So,
best.
which is great.
That's the best. Well, I've only got one more question for you guys, but I always like to save the best for last here. For the person that is going to discover you from this, and for the person that is going to check out your music for the first time, what is a message that you would like to pass off to the first time listener?
Good, Joe.
Oh, that is a tough question. Well, I don't know if it's a message more than an emotion, a feeling. I mean, I like our music to communicate to people, to invoke an emotion, to have some sort of motivation behind it. Like you said, you want to leave it open ended so that they can interpret what they'd like to interpret. But if it needed to be a message, my appreciations.
Yeah.
I appreciate taking the time to listen to our music. There's a lot of good music out there. But I think if our music can invoke an emotion, or invoke some sort of feeling in someone, a drive, if you will, that's all I can hope for.
I like that. What about you, Rob?
This is really easy for me, because whenever I write songs, I always have this one word in mind, and it's hope. Even if it's the darkest song, there's always hope at the end of the song that you can get out of something, a bad relationship, an addiction, whatever it is. At the end of the song, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And that's what we always try to write, to be positive and give people hope.
Yeah.
It's a
I
great
love
message.
that. I love that from both you guys. Fantastic answers, and I think you'll definitely win over the viewer, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
But yeah, again, Rob and Joe, I can't thank you guys enough for taking the time out of your day and for meeting
It's our
up.
pleasure.
This has been a fantastic conversation, and I really can't wait to hear more of your music as it gets released here. So thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Austin.
You're
Appreciate
welcome. And for everyone
Have a
else
good
out
one.
there, My Addiction is out. Listen to it. Listen to the rest of Kings County music. It's going to put you in a good mood. Can pretty much guarantee that.
it. Thank you.
Awesome. Take care, guys, and have a good rest of your night.
Cheers.
Austin.
You too.
See ya.